All right, guys, it's been a while, and it's really just an update. Next video, I got nothing else to update. It's going to be running next video, but I need to show you what I've done in the meantime. So the last video, we talked about my trigger wheel and my bracket, and if you look, you'll see I have my bracket done. Everybody was really worried that my bracket was made out of wood, and I said that it was getting made out of aluminum, and it did. So bracket is super sturdy. It's holding our sensor. We got our lock nuts and jam nuts and all that. So the sensor is set, is where it needs to be. Trigger wheel is on. Should be, I hope, close to where it needs to be. The timing mark says this is top dead center, so that should work. We got our spark plug wires made. We went over the top. Everybody said that seemed like the best idea, so we went ahead and did that. The big news is the wiring harness is all done. So we removed 4 of the injectors because we didn't need them. We removed all but one of the factory O2 sensors. And this is actually feeding both circuits for bank 1 and 2 sensor 1. So some features of the stock ECU will only work if you have both of them O2 sensors, and it will think we have both of them. So we did that. Coils, we did the same thing. Coil wiring is all done. And we had to change some wires in the connector to get the firing order correct. Same with the injectors, actually. But we pruned everything else we didn't need out. So, for example, a couple of things that are still sitting here is this is water temp. This is a cam sync, which we will have eventually. This is oil right here. So, all stuff that we need. Like I said, this is the only O2 remaining. We still need a wideband, but on this side we have our sensor wiring all done. So there's that. That plugs into that. I'm actually probably going to shorten this up. I think I made it a little too long, but yeah. And then over here we said this is the stock alternator wire. We need to extend this and do something with it. This guy is a knock sensor. I could probably yank that out, but we're keeping it in case we end up wanting to use it. This is the speed input from the transmission, and this is AC stuff. But other than that, everything else is pruned out. We wired in our OBD 2-port. This is the pedal plug because this is drive-by wire. So there's the pedal and the TAC module and all that. Now these wires hanging out of that are just cruise control stuff. Not important. So all of our power is right here, okay? These 2 purple ones are injector power and coils. And I think there might be something else wrapped up in there, but mainly these are injectors and coils. This is OBD2 power constant all the time and ECU power constant all the time. And this is switch power ECU, so switch 12 volt on. So that's all you need. It's all the power you need. And this is just accessory stuff. Like there's a fuel pump relay wire in here, your RPM signals in here, your malfunction indicator lamps in here, like a bunch of, just a bunch of stuff, random stuff, but got it all broke out. But yeah, so the harness is done. The engine is ready to fire. I'm waiting on a bus bar and some other stuff to show up. I'm going to put power to the harness, get my ECU plugged in, and I have this fuse block that I want to wire in at some point, but not today. So it's all ready to go. The next video, which should be very shortly, will be of it running. If you guys find this useful, check out my Patreon. It's $1. And $1's not much, but many hands make light work. If we all work together, I could, get this stuff done a little bit faster, because I feel like I take a long time. And if you can't, get on the Patreon, then just subscribe, because subscribing and liking and sharing the videos around, that helps too, And joining the Facebook group is also great, because I like seeing your guys' projects, and you can ask me questions directly. So the links for all that stuff's down below. So I would really appreciate it if you guys checked it out. right, gentlemen, we might just get this started before this video is over after all. So I've been busy, if you can't tell. Here's the engine, and we have got it wired up for power. So we can start checking things, making sure everything works. So let's kind of go over what we got here. So starting out, we just have main power from our battery and ground going to the fuse box. Now the fuse box is bust, so that means there are two dedicated rails for both your 12 volt and your ground that you can just hook right to the box. So power's on this side, it powers our fuses. Pretty simple. Power goes from the fuses and we wire it over to our input on our relay. The ground is already has a ground for the relay, and then we have our trigger wires for those relays wired. So pretty simple relay setup, right? So when we pull this switch down here, see this guy right here, when we pull that, that powers up the relays. And then these three relays send power to these three wires. We have two extras, which are probably going to be for fuel pump and AC in the future. But anyway, and then those three relays are powering our injectors, our coils, and switch 12 volt for our ECU, and some other random stuff. So we also have two additional fuses, which are running straight to these two wires, which are powering our 12 volt constant for our ECU. And this other one is just powering the switch that goes to our relays to trigger them. So that's the power setup. Real simple. I wired this up in a little while. And before we plug, it took me, I wired this up in a day or so. I took the time to check the plugs. I took the time to check the plugs before we plugged them into the ECU to make sure voltages were going where we were thinking they would be. We didn't want to blow anything up. And I'm happy to say that everything seems like it's working fine. We've done a test power on and no magic smoke. So, as a matter of fact, I can show you right here. So we'll use this test light as on. So we'll stick this guy in here. So when I pull this, see, light, relays power. You can hear the throttle body triggering. So that's all good to go. Now, next up is we're going to turn over here to the laptop. We have our HP tuners dongle hooked up. We're going to do a quick power up and check that we're getting readings off the scanner, for things like the map and the coolant temp, and just make sure things are working and we're getting signals where they should be getting. And yeah, so let's do that real quick. One of the last things we need to do, fellas, is we need to get the engine timed properly. So if you look down in here, you can see the stock pointer, and it goes from 12, 8, 4, and 0. And there's a corresponding notch right there where my finger is. Now, last time I checked the timing, it seemed to me that the yellow mark was appropriate, and it might be a bit off. But we're not going to worry about that today. We're going to put the time mark right there, a little notch, right on the pointer. And then we're going to set our trigger wheel to be pointing properly at the sensor here. Now, I think I have it marked where it should be, so it's only a little bit off. The main problem I have is that, unfortunately, when I had this cut, it's a little tight. I got to kind of heat it up to pop it off. So we're going to take the pulley off real quick. We're going to heat it up. We're going to get the ring off, get the pulley back on, get it set, and then put it on real quick while it's still hot to where it needs to be. I'll post the picture I got explaining where this should go, but you can kind of see, I believe that yellow mark is about right. It should be between these two, like I have it marked, but I actually think it should be the edge of this tooth right here should just be coming up in the center. I'll have to double check my thing, but that's what we're gonna do right now. And then once we get the spark plug wires done, we should be ready to try to fire the old girl. So stay tuned for that, huh? All right, so with the wiring done for the most part, now it's time to get fuel to it. I have my pump in a bucket set up already. As soon as we get the tune from Doc, we will slam it on the ECU, and I gotta get my dead man switch, we'll hook that up to the starter, and we'll see if she starts. So here's my Iron Duke with my turbo. I've talked about it before, but a lot of people don't know about it. So this is a GT25, I think, off of eBay. It was like $100. The turbo manifold I made. I have all the files available if you guys want to make your own. I'm going to warn you though, they're not 100%. Some of the bolt holes are a little off. Hopefully when I make a revision 2, if I make a revision 2, it's better. This is the stock manifold. I think this came off an S10. Heavily modified. This is a LS throttle body. We modified it for 4 injectors in a multi-port configuration. Down here we have gotten rid of the distributor, although it's still going to be there. Just ain't going to be doing anything. We have our 4 LS coils up underneath the intake there. The wires are going to spark plugs, obviously. This is a heavily modified LS harness. It has 4 injectors, 4 coils, obviously. It has flex fuel enabled. It has a wideband O2 to feed into our ECU to scan with our HP tuners. So yes, this is an LS ECU. The tune is going to be a little finicky. It is going to think it's still a V8. So we'll see how that goes. I just got done wiring everything up. So so battery to fuse box to that distro block. Distro block is powered everything. That switch down there, when you pull that, it energizes relays, triggers everything. We've been messing with our HP tuners dongle over here in the VCM scanner. It comes with HP tuners, so we checked all of our sensors. So I managed to wire this up right. I had a 50-50 chance. So air intake's wired right, maps working, everything looks really good. So we're going to tinker with the tune, and hopefully I should have this started up real shortly. All right, fellas, we're getting ready to do our pre-fire, test. We're going to spin her over and make sure everything sounds good, make sure we don't got no oil leaks. I wanted to pull this valve cover off because I don't think a mouse could have got in there, but you never know. I want to make sure there's nothing on the top end. So pull the bolts out and took a look, and I'll show you guys. Like, it's not a sludge puppy. It looks pretty good. I'm happy with it, right? So the bolts were already loose on this too, which I guess is a good thing I checked. Some of them must have been in here before. But yeah, we got our fuel pump in a bucket set up. The return is on the pump itself, so we're going to deadhead into the fuel rail, check for leaks. My welding, this one was a challenge, so hopefully we got no leaks anywhere. And then after that, we will spin it over. We'll spin it over without the injectors firing, I guess, and just kind of check things over. I'm in kind of a small room, but it ain't gonna run for long. If it does run, it probably won't run the first start, let's be honest, right? So we're gonna go ahead and do that. All right, spins over good. I don't got an oil pressure gauge hooked up, I probably should. So we're gonna turn it on. I'm gonna do that again, and we're gonna see if it gets spark. And I'll report back what happens. If it starts, I'll have footage of it starting. All right, reporting. So this is the end of the video, and I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is everything seems to work the way it should be, and the bad news is that it's not starting. So the coils and the injectors are not firing. Nothing, nada, zip. I hooked the scanner up to it, and when turning it over, it's showing 0 RPM. So that tells me that if it's showing 0 RPM, it's not getting the proper signal off the crank trigger, right? And if we're not getting the proper signal off the crank trigger, well, then the coils and the injectors aren't going to fire. So the first thing I did, obviously, was I used my multimeter and I made sure I had continuity between the pins for the power to the crank trigger sensor, ground, and signal are all going where they're supposed to be going. And we're not getting anything. And it is getting power. So the next step is I'm going to pick up an oscilloscope. Probably like one of them laptop ones. I think they're about $200. We're going to pick one of them up. We are going to together learn how to scope a crank signal. And then once we get that, we'll know if we have, we'll know what's going on. We'll know, first of all, we'll know if we're getting a signal, period. Because if we're not getting any signal, then that sensor could be bad. Who knows, right? We'll know what the signal looks like if we are getting one. And we'll be able to compare that to the right signal, which I have a copy of. And if both of them are true, it could be the ECU. And I think what I might do is I might just grab an ECU, spare one that I have, turn VATs off real quick, throw it on, not touch it, just throw it on, and see if anything changes. That ECU could just be junk, but I doubt it. Like, those things are pretty robust, and I mean, I just really doubt it. So that's where we are, guys. So a couple things, right? Go join the Facebook group. There is also a Facebook page. The group is called The Tall Garage, and the page is just called Tall Garage. But join the group, right? You can ask me anything you want in there, and I'll see it like immediately and reply. Way better than video comments. Plus, you know, if you guys got a project you're working on, you want to post in there, be pretty cool to see it. Second of all, if anybody wants to contribute to the pay, to the channel or whatever, to help get the oscilloscope, it's about $200. Like maybe like $220. I gotta buy some like probes. My PayPal will be in the video description. You guys could shoot me a little bit. And yeah. So thanks for watching this video, fellas. Sorry we didn't get a runner. I was really hoping she'd just take off, right? Just take off and run. But we're not there. We're almost there. A couple gremlins to figure out. So until the next one, this has been Ken from Tall Garage, and I will see you on the next one.